All right, welcome back to our second video of unscripted questions here at the Ferguson home, and we're excited to continue our conversation answering hard questions we get from couples, and we have none of this prepared, and so we'll just see how it goes. All right, question 2, Barry Sue.
Wait. I'm sorry. He went first last time, so I'm totally going first this time.
Fine.
And I have another thing really quick.
Yeah.
All you left-handed people, do you feel me? Like, why? Like, so, wait a second. This is how I hold it. This is how right-handed people do it? How do you hold your cup?
Yeah, this way.
You do?
I hold with my right hand. Yeah. Why?
So maybe it's not a right-handed, left-handed thing. Because I love this cup, and I want to show it off. In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus. It's my favorite way to wake up in the morning.
But you can't see it because of the way you hold the cup?
You have to hold it the right way, because if you hold it this way, why don't they put the sayings on both sides?
I don't know. My Baylor cup's got it all the way around, so I can see it either way. National champions.
I feel like whoever made this cup was trying to just, I don't know.
They have it out for left-handed people.
So random.
All right,
okay, so question. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. I did a sex question last week, so I'm going to give him a break this week. And this is a communication question. You ready?
Bring it.
Wives want to know, what does respect look like practically? Because we talk about husbands love your wives and wives respect your husbands.
Yep.
What does that look like played out in the day-to-day?
Yeah, it's a great question. So what we say in our marriage ministry is that husbands really process how they feel connected to their wife through how respected they feel. And that can be a little counterintuitive for wives who very much, they also need respect, but are primarily wanting to know that they feel loved and cherished and cared for. But when men get around each other, the primary way that we kind of establish our relationship with one another is through the giving and the taking of respect. And so what does that look like in a marriage relationship? I think, the primary things that we talk about that we see a lot that I would say to wives is, number one, be careful about like constantly interrupting your husband, and kind of demeaning him when he's talking. It's like, oh my gosh, he's taking so long to get to the point, or, man, he's so foolish about what he's saying. Like, this is actually what should be doing, whatever. And so I know that can happen. I know that happens in every relationship where it's like, okay, you gotta get to the point, do what you're supposed to do, whatever. And just feeling like, he's not saying the right thing or doing the right thing. I would just caution you, wives, about like interrupting and speaking to him in a way that really embarrasses him and demeans him and humiliates him. Now, obviously, we can overblow that and say like, well, does that mean I can never like argue with him or correct him or disagree? I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is be just mindful of kind of how you do that, right? And with that, especially is... how you talk to him and about him in front of other people, right? And so the issue there is, like, if you are talking about him to your peers and kind of running him down, we kind of joke about how, most sitcoms are based on this idea of like the stupid husband can't do anything right, And if you get in that mindset and you communicate that way to your friends about him, of like, my husband can't do anything right or whatever, again, he's going to feel kind of torn down and demeaned by that. And that does impact like your just tone, your attitude toward him, and the way that he feels about himself in the relationship. So that's mainly about communication. I would say the other thing is like when he makes decisions, even if you're like, I'm not totally sure that's the right decision, but to also say, hey, I'm going to trust you in this. I'm going to follow your lead in this. That really does build up a husband, even if you're like, I'm not sure that's exactly what I would do or how I would do it. But again, because you're doing it from a place of respect, that you're willing to let him make the call on some things where it's like, hey, this is an open-handed issue and we might disagree about this, but I'm going to follow your lead on this and trust the decision that you're making. Those are things that help build respect in a husband.
Yeah, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong too, but I think through the years I've always I thought that it meant a lot to you just to always esteem you in front of the kids, like not fake esteeming, but to really just honor you. You know, when they do something they enjoy, to say like, hey, make sure to thank your dad. He works really hard to provide that. And when you do make a decision for the family, like not to go in their room afterwards and be like, I'm so sorry, I don't know what your dad, like not to do that, but to really in front of the kids let them know that I honor you and I'm so thankful for you. So I don't know if that's a big deal or not, but
yeah, it is. It's huge. I mean, to you know, like you said, not to fake it, but to esteem your husband and the things that he does do well, you know? And so rather than humiliating him for the things he doesn't do well, which there's always things that we're not good at, but to esteem and to respect the things where, like you said, he works hard, or he provides for the family, or he takes care of things around the house, or there's things that he does, to esteem him for those things and just acknowledge that, man, I just really appreciate how you do that and respect you for that, and that's part of who you are and your character. And so so I'm kind of saying the first part of the answer to the question is there's things to avoid, like here's things that actually feel like disrespect, you know, and then there's things that you can do positively that actually build that esteem and respect towards your husband. And so and it's hard. I mean, you know, just like we talk about with wives, there's moments where husbands don't feel like loving their wives, but God says to husbands to love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. And so in the same way, I know there are times where wives don't feel like respecting their husbands and because of, you know, his own sin issues or behavior or immaturity or whatever he's doing. You know, I don't feel like respecting him. I don't feel like he deserves my respect. And I know that's real. But the challenge is as you submit to Christ, to say, I'm going to respect my husband even when I don't feel like it, in the same way that I'm expecting my husband to love me when he doesn't feel like it.
Well, yeah, and I think of the moments where I've been at my worst, you know, might be that time of month, or there's different things I'm struggling with, and I think it ministers to me the most and softens my heart the most when you show me love when I know I'm not very lovable. So I would assume for guys that that's the same way. Like, it's not like we need to tell our husbands, hey, you're not respectable right now. They're probably battling feeling that, you know? And so in those moments, I would think that would even mean more to soften hearts, to come and show respect.
Yeah, for sure.
That moment.
For sure, yeah. That's exactly right. And I think those are the moments where it means the most. And I mean, one of the challenges we talk about a lot with men is they can feel a level of respect and honor in their profession that they don't feel at home, you know. And some of that is on men. Some of that is that we work harder at work than we do at home, and that's on us, right? But some of it too is the you can get more adoration and praise and respect and congratulations and all that for the achievements you get at work, and then come home and feel like you kind of never are succeeding, you know, like
the to-do list
never ends, and it just kind of, well, it's just kind of expected. It's not, you know, so what, you took out the trash, like we expect you to do that, you know. So I'm acknowledging that's a struggle for men sometimes, and so I think a wife can help her husband just in the way that she just shows appreciation for who he is and what he does, and that means a lot to a husband. You know, I know it means a lot to wives, but it means a lot to husbands.
Do we need to figure out how to give y'all bonuses or something? End of the year for a job.
All right, question 2 for you.
Okay.
How do we reignite sexual intimacy in the crazy world of parenting and career? So husbands want to know.
How do we hotel room?
Okay, how do we reignite when we don't have the money to get a hotel room? How do we reignite intimacy in the marriage? Because a lot of husbands, we get this question a ton, where it's like, man, there was a lot more physical intimacy and sexual passion early in the relationship, but now it's just like, you know, between parenting and careers and, you know, sickness and health issues or whatever, all of a sudden it just seems a lot harder.
Man, we understand that, because right now we're just, I think we've said it on a lot of videos, but, you know, we love our time together. But we're in a season where our older kids, you know, they're coming in our room at 11:30 or midnight when they get home from work, wanting to tell us they're home. So that keeps that at an awkward stage, as somebody might walk in. And then our little kids wake up early in the morning, so they can like show up in our bed between 6:30 and 7 a.m. Like, hey, let's start the day. So that's been hard on us. And then plus we're exhausted. So, you know, so we do budget for a hotel night, and that's not the only, but I'm saying like that's one of the things that we know we're not going to have the interruptions, but also we've had to adjust our times. Like, we've had to get very creative. And I would say too, like when our kids were young, we did granny night. So if you have a grandparent in the vicinity, institute what we call, you know, your own granny night or grandparent night, where they go and you stay at your house, just y'all at the house. We also for a season joined the YMCA, and I think they call it Family Friday, but we called it date night. And so we would take the kids, and instead of going out somewhere, go back to your house and have that uninterrupted time. So you definitely have to get very creative, but it's worth it. And I would say too, you have to two things. You have to be willing to be spontaneous. So when the time does, you know, open up,
the waters part.
The Red Sea parts, and you realize, wait, we actually might have 30 minutes or an hour. Take advantage. Like whatever was on your agenda, it's more important that you connect with your spouse physically. But I think also plan. So be willing to be spontaneous, and then also you've got to plan and to make sure that you are getting time together. So I don't know. Did that answer?
Yeah.
What have we done besides what I'm?
Yeah, I don't know. You're making me uncomfortable talking about all of our personal stuff, but
Am I really?
well, no, it's just like, again, thinking about who's watching these videos, and it's like I'm getting embarrassed thinking about our own kids watching these videos. Oh, that's what mom and dad are doing. No, I think just communicating to your spouse that you desire intimacy with one another, even when you're not able to enjoy sexual intimacy. And I think that means a lot too, just to say, man, I'm looking forward to the next time that we've got time together, just the two of us, and communicating that, because it can kind of, if you don't communicate through those seasons, then you can start to kind of create a narrative in your mind, like
that might not be true, but
yeah, you can create a narrative in your mind that says, oh, I'm really missing this, but my spouse doesn't care, and that's not true. But that's what kind of gets going in your brain.
Or for a woman, like, oh, he doesn't find me attractive anymore. And so I love it when you're like, you're so beautiful, and I want you so bad, and I'm so tired. Well, I understand being tired, and so but just to affirm helps to put my mind at ease. Like it's nothing on me. So again, just communicate, be at peace that seasons are different, and fight for what you can with the time you have. So just make sure you're connecting, and it might not be, for sure for us, when we first got married, we were big like, hey, every 48 hours for sure, or something's wrong. And we can't do that now. But we know it's healthy for us. And we know if we're not in that healthy spot, and then we readjust our priorities and our rhythms. So
yeah. And like Barry said, try something different, change it up, go somewhere.
I can't believe I embarrassed you.
Well, it's just funny because the question is like, how do couples reignite their passion? And you just went immediately in the first person. Well, this is what I do. This is what we do. It was like, I was just like, well, just put all of our stuff out there. Just tell all of our stuff.
We
you
prioritize keeping it real.
You can answer it in the third person. You could be like, well, couples, they can do that.
All these couples out in the world.
Anyway,
I live to make it uncomfortable.
Sweating a little bit.
It makes my life so joyful.